House Wolford, eager to report House N's illicit dealings to Hyzant, rebuffs an attack from Booker, Sorslay's loyal assistant, and gains entry to the city. Alas, Kamsel, one of the Saintly Seven, informs them that charges cannot be brought without hard evidence of Sorslay's misdeeds.
I see the salt matter is being addressed.
Exactly as you predicted, no less. I never expected House Wolford to so much as entertain the idea.
The Wolfords are formidable, always striving to do the right thing. Which is also what makes them so easy to manage.
What are you scheming now?
Scheming? You make it sound so scandalous. All I do for our beloved Hyzant.
Do not play the fool. I know Minister Edor has taken notice of you. You would do well not to let it go to your head. I certainly cannot bring myself to admire the man.
Oh, why ever not?
'Tis not worth going into detail. Suffice to say, I would not mourn him should some grave impropriety come to light.
Then, for now, let us gleefully await the Wolford's next move.
Sorsley may well come to end us once he hears of our allegations. There is no turning back now. We must move swiftly.
So how shall we proceed?
We must provide hard evidence, as Minister Kamsel requested.
And I wish to be named Archduke of Esfrost. Does he understand what he asks of us? We have no leads.
Salt is a well-regulated commodity, and numbers do not lie. If this illicit trade exists, someone will have altered the ledgers.
Of course. We'll gather what information we can on Sorsley until the evidence we seek reveals itself. Let us canvass the town and see what we find.
Agreed. We should split up and search for clues.
What news? Have you learned anything?
Sorsley is shrewd. He'll not reveal his true colors so easily.
Nothing can remain hidden indefinitely. A thorough review of the testimony shall show us the truth.
Benedict is right. Let us review what we know to be true.
Lord Serenoa, what does the evidence at hand suggest? Let us begin with Sorsley himself. What is his crime?
He bribed nobles right under our noses in Glenbrook.
How could I have been so blind to his dealings in the upper echelons of my own kingdom?
Though we know this to be true, I doubt we'll build a worthy case now that Esfrost rules the Crown City.
If we cannot secure the help of the remaining saints, we've no choice but to present our case directly to the Hierophant. Doing so will require incontrovertible proof of Sorsley's improprieties.
Clarice said Sorsley kept a secret ledger.
Of course. Sales had to be carefully managed so as not to arouse suspicion.
Making detailed records a necessity. I've no doubt this ledger exists. Now then, let us focus on where we might find the evidence we need.
So, we'll find the vanished cargo ship.
How do you propose we find something that vanished without a trace? Suspicious as it is, we'd best search elsewhere.
Might the bribe Sorsley plied Glenbrook's nobles with be connected to his illicit dealings?
We know the ledger tracking the tainted salt exists.
The vanished cargo ship is suspicious, yes, but we'll not find an unmoored vessel.
Despite our best efforts, I'm afraid we haven't evidence enough to confront him over his crimes.
And Sorsley will find us out soon enough, if he hasn't already.
Time is of the essence, then. What is our next move?
Though we lack proof, we'd best raise the issue with Kamsel once more.
Serenoa and his retinue know House End is involved in the illicit salt trade, yet fail to secure any solid evidence to back up their claims. Their position growing tenuous, House Wolffort makes a reckless bid to persuade Kamsel, Minister of Domestic Affairs, to levy charges.
Minister Kamsel will join our cause, won't he?
It's hard to be sure, but we must press our case and have faith. That is all that is in our power to do.
You! Are you House End's dogs?
A messenger, my lord, from the palace. I seek Lord Serenoa Wolffort.
You have found him.
Lord Wolffort, you have been accused of coercing Minister Sorsley End unto unlawful acts. Your presence is required at the palace so the Holy One may question you.
House End is the guilty party, not Serenoa.
If you've testimony to give, you are welcome to stand witness at the trial.
My lord, this may be a good opportunity to bring our case directly to the Hierophant and the other powerful entities of Hyzant. I expect the Saintly Seven are not of one mind on this matter. If you can persuade some of the ministers to side with us, Sorsley will have nowhere to run.
Perhaps. Or you could end up the one with his head on the chopping block, Serenoa.
Even so, we cannot make an enemy of Hyzant, else we truly will be alone. I must stand trial, plead my case to the Holy One and the Saintly Seven, and hope that they believe me.
The inquiry of House Wolffort, stood accused by Minister Sorsley End, will hereby commence. We of the Saintly Seven will preside over this trial. Serenoa Wolffort, you stand before the Holy One. Do you swear by the goddess to speak the truth?
I swear.
Minister Exham Marshall, you may begin the proceedings.
We know Minister Sorsley quite well, having worked with him for these long years. But we know comparatively little of you, Lord Serenoa. Therefore, we must first determine whether you are worthy of our trust. Surely you have not forgotten his position among the Saintly Seven of the Holy State of Hyzant?
I would never forget, but...
Then why do you lay these accusations at Sorsley's feet? As one of the Saintly Seven, he speaks with the voice of the goddess herself. Your actions undermine the goddess's ordained order. I have nothing further to ask.
Next, Minister Kamsel Farrant will make his inquiries.
You must understand the difficult position you have put us in, sauntering into our home to denounce one of our own. We are a welcoming people, and so must be wary of those who seek to take advantage of our open hearts. If a stranger came to you with unfounded accusations against one of your people, I doubt you would take him at his word. Have you any proof of the foul deeds you claim have taken place in our land?
I have a witness who has seen the salt being transported. One of the guards at the source.
Oh, one of our citizens. Any entrusted to protect the source must swear an oath of honesty to the goddess before assuming duty. Well then, it seems we ought to consider the matter a little further. I have nothing more to ask.
Minister Tenebris, if you would.
It isn't strange that lay people would fail to grasp the goddess's infinite wisdom. We seven, however, do understand her will. For most, our teachings are the only way they know how to live according to her plan. It is moot to judge Sorsley, one of the seven, based on evidence brought against him by a layperson. no matter what that evidence may be. Unless you have testimony from one who understands the goddess's will, there is simply nothing we can do.
Sorcelet met in secret with powerful Glenbrook officials and bribed them. Minister Lila's secretary can attest to this.
Oh? A secretary to one of the Saintly Seven, you say?
My secretary's word is as good as my own. None is more devoted to the goddess than he. If any can grasp her will, he can.
I see. Well, I cannot argue against that. I've no further questions.
Minister Lila Viscraft, ask your questions.
It is plain to me that Sorcelet has indeed engaged in misconduct, namely bribery. Yet while I do not doubt he bribed an official of Glenbrook, what the bribe was for remains unclear. Perhaps you can shine some light on the matter, Lord Serenoa?
I believe he wished to ensure that word of the unlawful salt's destination would not travel.
Meaning that a powerful official in the Kingdom of Glenbrook was also complicit in this illicit trade. It would be possible to sell unlawful salt through all of Norzelia if one could ship it through Glenbrook. A secret worth its weight in gold indeed. I have no more questions.
I, Idor Delmira, will ask one final round of questions. I cannot deny, Lord Serenoa, that Sorcelet can be foolish. But he is also dedicated to the goddess, and he has worked much good as one of the seven. Though he is not faultless by any means, I believe the goddess yet favors him. If we are to pass judgment on such a man, we must prove his guilt to the goddess herself. So let me ask you this, Serenoa Wolfort. Where exactly are we to find such evidence against Sorcelet End?
He kept details of his crimes in a secret ledger. It must be somewhere in Hyzant.
A secret ledger? Even supposing that is true, we cannot search our entire country for it. Unless the goddess has seen his crimes for herself, we cannot judge him guilty. My questions are done. Now we will confer with one another. The Holy One will pass judgment after hearing our opinions. Serenoa Wolfort, the Holy One has passed judgment. House Wolfort is found to have spoken true. Therefore, we find House Wolfort innocent and declare Sorcelet End a traitor.
What?
Calm yourself. It seems the goddess has mercy yet to give you.
Praise her, and praise her wisdom. What mercy has she for me?
You will stand in combat against House Wolfort. Whomsoever emerges the victor will be cleansed of their sins.
Combat?
But your sins are indeed heavy, Sorcelet. Therefore, we give this to House Wolfort.
You seek my demise, do you? I, whose oversight of the source brought prosperity to this land?
Do not twist the truth to obfuscate your crimes.
It seems you've forgotten the goddess's will. Allow me to remind you.
Come then. Let us settle this in honest combat.
Away with you!
Now I end this.
With the powers in
in me.
Enjoy your freedom while it lasts. The moment I win, you will be cast into the source and left there to rot.
The Roselle have suffered too long under your cruelty. Mark me, Sorcelay End. You will pay for what you have done.
I will make you regret every injury you inflict upon me.
Away with you! You don't stand a chance!
Die already!
For my kingdom!
To ashes!
Away with you!
No.
Take aim!
Victory goes to House Wolfort. Give thanks to the goddess for bestowing upon you her grace. This concludes your trial. Well fought, all of you.
To think the truth had to be proved through a test of strength.
It was the Hierophant's decree. None in Hyzant raise objections.
Ain't nothing to be ashamed of, my lord. After all, losing the battle would have meant losing our heads.
I suppose you are right.
So, Lord Serenoa, what shall you do now?
Well,
I shall speak plainly. The Holy One wishes to aid House Wolfort.
Thank you, Your Holiness.
Your house is known throughout all Norzelia, and rightly so, given the vital land you control.
It would be quite the blow if Esfrost's aggressions spelled the end of your domain.
The Hierophant tells me a seat amongst the Saintly Seven shall be yours, should you desire it.
And I would not hesitate to accept it if it meant securing peace for my people.
Then perhaps we can find common ground. The Hierophant, however, has a concern.
I would hear it.
The Roselle living in your domain. They are descendants of the sinners who dwell at the source. That is their proper place. There they offer themselves to the goddess in the hopes they may one day The Hierophant longs to see them return to their rightful home.
You would have me surrender them to you?
It is not my place to make demands. I am merely to deliver unto you the word of the Hierophant.
Serenoa, will you surrender the Roselle to Hyzant?
I don't know.
As you are doubtless aware, Lady Frederica, the vow of Lord Simon himself binds us to protect them. Alas, our house is not what it once was.
Is that a reason to cast aside its honor? My father, as well, likely had a hand in orchestrating their protection.
Ah, my friends, I apologize that we once again meet under dire circumstances. You face a difficult choice, one I do not envy. Have you...
Not yet. We will, you can be sure.
They've got us by the small ones, and they know it. They made this request full aware of our history.
Lest you misunderstand, allow me to illuminate your position. You are not the noble hawks you think yourselves to be. You are vultures, feeding off the scraps of Sorceley's corpse.
You've got some nerve.
I speak from experience when I say that the title of Saint is not to be worn lightly. Are you prepared?
Prepared? For what?
Doubtless you are aching to break free of your fetters, to take wing and soar. To do that, blood must be spilled. The blood of enemy, friend, and self alike. Your freedom lies at the end of a trail of dead. If you are not prepared to make that journey, to endure that sacrifice, then cast aside your pretensions and grovel.
Grovel or bleed. Poor options, both.